So if I try to understand the energy representation of it, so we can write, let us mark this as distance, this as relative energy. So when we talk about the isolated atom, as we have discussed here, for isolated atom, all these electrons will have some kind of a fixed energy. So we can designate them into two different levels, L equals to 0 and L equals to 1. So here we can have possible 2n states and all these states will be filled. Similarly here we can have 6n states, and since we are having just 4 electrons in the outermost orbit, we are going to have 2 here, and since we are talking about the n atoms, this will be 2n. So if I talk about this value, 2n plus 6n, total 8n states are possible. These are unfilled states, and out of which this 2n and this 2n together makes up 4n. So we have 4n electrons in the outermost orbit. Now, this is the case wherein we talk about the isolated atoms. But when this interatomic spacing reduces, so let us write this as interatomic spacing, they are bound to have some interaction between the electrons of neighboring silicon atoms. So in that case, so when we bring atoms together, there is an interaction due to forces. Level 0 approaches level 1 on acquiring high energy and vice versa. So at certain distance, we are going to get a discrete energy levels, what we refer to them as energy bands. Now this band is referred to as valence band, and here the top band is referred to as conduction band. There does not exist any energy levels here, so this is what is called as forbidden gap. So as we have discussed, we have two discrete energy levels here, 2s2 and 2p2. So for 2s we are going to have level 0, n equals to 0. So out of this 2n, all the states are filled, and out of this 6n, only 2n are filled. So if I want to just isolate this structure, then we are going to have discrete energy levels for valence band and discrete energy levels for conduction band. In between, what we have is forbidden energy gap. Now this is what is called as valence energy states, and this is the conduction energy band. Conduction energy band, and here these are valence energy band. Now in this case, if I talk about the structure, let us assume that in center we have silicon atom surrounded by another 4 silicon atoms. Now each of these atoms will have 4 electrons in the outermost orbit. Now this electron is going to travel or revolve around its own nucleus, and also apart from this revolution, it will also revolve around the neighboring silicon atom. Likewise, a electron belonging to this silicon atom is going to take a round around its own nucleus, and it will also take a round around the center atom. Same case over here, electron will take a round around its own nucleus, and it will also take a one turn around the center nucleus. So how this is represented? So instead of this complicated diagram, we will simply going to represent nucleus in this fashion. silicon nucleus atoms. So here each of these electron will be shared with the neighboring or center atom. So this is how it will be represented. So the silicon atom to begin with will have 4 electrons in the outermost orbit, and each of the neighboring silicon atom is going to have sharing of single electron. So this is what is called as covalent bonds. Now, how do we classify the conductivity of different materials? So in case of insulators, so as we have discussed, this is the conduction band, here is the valence band. The energy gap in case of insulators is greater than 3 electron volt. So let us mark this as insulator. In case of semiconductors, so this is the semiconductor. Again we are going to have 2 bands, the conduction band and the valence band, and this energy gap Eg is less than 3 electron volt, whereas in case of conductors there is a overlapping of conduction band and valence band. So this is the case for conductors. So if I take any conductor and if I apply a battery source across it, the current radially flows. But in case of semiconductors, I need to excite the electrons from the valence band. So electron is going to move from the valence band to the conduction band, thereby creating a hole in the valence band. So this electron upon excitation will go into the conduction band. Then it is referred to as free electron. And only when you have certain number of free electrons, current conduction can take place. Now, how much is 1 electron volt? So 1 electron volt is 1.6 into 10 to the power 19 coulombs into 1 volt joules. So for 1 cubic meter, you can have 10 to the power 28 number of electrons for 1 cubic meter. Here we have this number. So what about this value, 3 electron volt? So if I want to calculate how much is this 3 electron volt, this is 3 into 10 to the power 28, that is the concentration of electrons into 1 eV. This if I solve, I get 3 into 10 to the power 9 joules. So what is the significance of this value, 3 into 10 to the power 9? So it is 1 followed by 9 zeros. How do we interpret it? Like for example, if I want to make the insulator conduct, then I need to supply this much of energy. So if we supply this much of a heat, before it absorbs so much of heat, it will become so hot, it will reach the ignition point and it will catch fire. So simply we cannot provide this much of energy to insulator. The summary of what we have studied today. So semiconductors are partially conductors, so others are insulators. So in insulators the resistivity is high, in conductors the conductivity is high. Semiconductors is a combination of two, but this middle value itself does not make it a semiconductor. So there is a specialty in semiconductors. So when we design any electronic system, we brought out the variations in the current component of the system. So when we design any electronic system, we ought to bring out the variation in the current component of the system. Like for example, sound, picture, data. So here is the equation we have started with. I equals to NEA into BD, where N is the number of charge carriers. So In case of semiconductor, this is the most important figure where we can control the conductivity. So according to our design, we can increase or decrease the number of charge carriers. In semiconductors, we control the conductivity. So, in case of isolated atom, each electron will have certain energy, and if it was not there, then it would have been absorbed by the nucleus. Similarly, if we excite any electron, it acquires the energy and it leaves out the orbit. So we are nearing to the end of this lecture. The most important concept as far as semiconductor is concerned is covalent bonding. So this is what we have discussed earlier. Covalent bonding. So what is covalent bonding? So if I take out or consider any electron, it revolves around its own nucleus and also capable of taking a round across the neighboring atom, fulfilling the vacancy. Now what if we create an electric field by applying a battery terminals across a semiconductor? So if I am having this pattern and simply if I apply the potential across it, whether it's going to conduct current or not. So in this case, no electric current is possible unless and until this electron acquires certain energy and loses out from its orbital pattern, and then it is considered to be as free electron. Only when we have these free electrons, we can have current conduction possible. So with that, I conclude this lecture, but in the next topic, we will be introducing the basic concept. We will be starting with the topics such as the charge densities in semiconductors. Thank you.